the way that they're using tarot cards and even teaching tarot cards is wrong. I wish I didn't have to be so blunt and make a statement like that. It doesn't even seem right to say that they're all wrong. But it's true. It really is. You know, there's a saying going around that everything we've been taught is wrong, especially in this kind of a field of tarot and tarot cards, okay? Some of you know I was once rated 15th in the world by a big, huge website, you know, still active. Make sure I know what's going on around here. And I did over 18,000 readings in the first 6 years that I was on that website. Got to be well known. Did a lot of readings. And it finally dawned on me that none of us knew what we were doing. There was over 3,000 psychics on there, readers. It's still active, this website. Sometimes I mention the name. But it kind of went downhill, so I got out of there. But it came to my attention by my own self, by my own observations, that the way we were using the tarot cards was not right, and we were basically winging it, giving sermons, trying to be, you know, counselors of advice and whatnot, you know. But basically, I knew it, and I don't know if other people were that honest with themselves, but I was. And I decided I was going to, once and for all, determine whether or not there was any validity or anything to tarot cards. And to get to the end of this story, I'll tell more of it as we go along. But what I came to know is that tarot cards were invented in order to hide secrets, and the secrets were basically knowledge, was the science or the knowledge of mind, the psychic. People think psychic means you can read somebody else's mind. I say psychic means you can, on a good day, read your own mind, right? And that's what being a psychic really means. Psychic doesn't mean you can read somebody else's mind. Psychic means you can read your own mind, and the whole key to that is that there's two minds that create your consciousness and blah, blah, and we get into that around here. Excuse me. But the first thing you really need to do, the big transition, the big shift of perception upon the matter, upon tarot cards, is you have to understand that they were never meant for, they weren't originally meant or even used for divination, fortune telling, getting messages, none of that. That's all a lesser use of them, way lesser, okay? So when I began to realize this, I'm like, wow, man, these cards, they began as educational devices, but coded through the symbols on the cards. It was telling what was hidden, the esoteric, the arcana, the secret, right? And because of the rise of religion, matters such as the science of mind, the science of who you are, spirituality, consciousness, and all that stuff became outlawed. It was heresy. You could be burned at the stake for being a witch and all this stuff, you know, a sorcerer and, you know, servant of the devil and all these things. And it was basically 3 or 4,000 years where religion, the rising religious empire that basically runs the world still to this day, crushed out spirituality. And tarot was the knowledge that built the pyramids. Tarot was the knowledge that built all these megalithic structures, and the astrology that we know about and all the sciences was tarot. Tarot is a knowledge. It has nothing to do with fortune telling. You can use anything to read fortunes. You can use anything for divination, bones, rocks, stones, cards. Even, you know, the bird flying overhead will tell you something about what's going on, and that's because reality is a mirror. We'll talk about that more. Reality is a mirror. Of course it's going to reflect where you're at, because it's all about the mind, which is what you are. It's not what you have. So when you become when you come into this understanding that tarot and tarot cards were hiding knowledge that was heresy and outlawed, illegal. And then you begin to look at them differently. And next thing you do is you educate yourself with the education that's in the cards, right? But it's coded, it's in symbols because it had to be hidden. And to the authorities, it looked like the people that were using them were just playing silly card games, which what they thought they were in the beginning. But that's because they had hidden secrets. And it was the gypsies, and I'll tell you about all that. But when you begin to realize that there's a real hidden, absolute, fundamental, essential message for every human being embedded in the symbolism of the cards, and it's an essential knowledge. Well, you begin to okay, cool. Then what? Then why do I even need to read them for divination, or why would I use them for a tarot card reading? If they're just an educational device, and so I can learn the education that they're presenting in the hidden symbols, and there's it's a bona fide thing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see, I lead you into understanding what all the tarot cards are, and I bring you through the astrology of it, the numerology, the symbols, and it's just like there's no way to deny once you see it right. And then you begin to understand how it does completely apply to your psychology, your psychiatry, your mind, your consciousness, and how that makes things manifest in your outer world. It's like an incredible thing, guys. So that's the big use and purpose of the tarot cards. But they can be used for divination because anything and everything can be used for fortune telling. But when I do a reading for somebody, the reading is going to initially is going to talk about how the relationship between the person's thoughts and their feelings is going. The relationship between I and I, the relationship between you and you, I and I, me, myself, I. And this is the whole thing in the tarot parable, is that the human consciousness, mind, you, soul, the psychic, you're a duality. You're a pair. You're a twin individual, not an individual. And this makes a world of difference when I'll tell you about it as we go along. So a tarot card reading done right will be like an x-ray of the relationship of yourself to yourself. And from that observation, from that reflection in the cards of the relationship between your thoughts and your intuitive feeling, which is connected to heart, through that observation, through that x-ray, through that showing of the cards, I can predict what's happened in your past, what's going on in your present, and what will most probably happen in your future with great accuracy, because where the mind goes, the body follows. More on this up next.